Welcome. It's wonderful to be here again today. Thank you for all your kind messages and support of my channel. I'm truly grateful. So, today we've got another healing video, and I hope that these are assisting you in getting the body clean. And we're going to talk today about deep cleaning of the emotional body. So, if you imagine the emotional body to be a series of rooms inside of you, as you spring clean these, you're becoming the authentic version of yourself. You're coming back to who you truly are. Now, it takes courage to enter the depths to do this work. So don't get overwhelmed. Do one room at a time. Identify what this room represents and dive in. Feather duster, rubber gloves, and mop. The aim is to leave this room aired, fresh, light, and clean. For those that watch my videos regularly, you will have heard me talking about the emotional scale before. So those that haven't, I will link a video on the end of this one, which will give you more information rather than talking about it twice. But there are 22 emotions ranging from fear, depression, grief, despair, hopelessness at 22, which is left-hand brain, and freedom, joy, bliss, enlightenment is at number one, which is right hand brain. So I've talked about designing in your imagination a bridge to remain on as much as possible at number seven, which is contentment. Now, the beauty of being on this bridge is you feel safe, but it also doesn't take any energy. If you imagine a pendulum swinging, there is energy that is required to go backwards and forwards. But when it comes to a place of stillness, there is no energy being used, so you don't get exhausted. People that are struggling with mental health are always tired because they're constantly in the mind, which is using up so much energy, or which is in the past or in the future, with anxiety. It just makes you worn out. So, really mastering this step of remaining on the bridge is really important. Besides using this scale of 1 to 22, where you can see how much cleaning is required, I find it really useful to examine the words. Each of the separate numbers has a word. So, with detachment, you can look at these to see what triggers you. I'm going to give you some examples. If there is a word that does trigger you, this room needs cleaning, or at the very least identifying. So work your way through this list that I'm about to share and see if any of these resonate with you, that kind of like push your ego. No, I'm not. Or, like make you feel sick or trigger you. So you may want to pause the video, get a pen and paper or your journal so that you can take some notes on this, because it's such a profound step to get rid of trauma. So pay attention to the heart muscle as you're going through this process. As you get more experience, the heart speaks to you, which we'll cover in another lesson. But while you're reading these, focus on the heart muscle and wait for the body to give you indications. Now, you may feel like bubbles, or a jump, or a flutter, or a warm sensation around your chest area. Everyone is different. But your heart actually can be your guide to answer yes and no questions. It's amazing, but we'll do that in another lesson. So if you have a pen, make a note of these, and I will also include the list at the end of this video in another video so you can see these. So if you really want to master this step, watch the video that is attached to this one. And let's crack on and start with number 1, which is joy, knowledge, empowerment, and freedom. This is right hand brain. This is the goal, to get to this place of enlightenment, working your way up the emotional scale. Number 2 is passion. Number 3 is enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness. You can see all of these top ones are all beautiful places to be, and they just come once you've got yourself to the bridge of 7 and clean. The rest will come really easily. Number 4, positive expectation and belief. Number 5 is optimism. Number 6 is hopefulness. Number 7 is contentment. So the bridge runs between 6 and 7. This is where you want to keep driving yourself to, standing on this beautiful bridge that you've decorated, using no energy, just letting it all go and being in a place of just feeling peaceful. Number 8, boredom. So now we start going down into the trauma, into the rooms within inside you. Number 9, pessimism. Number 10, frustration, irritation, impatience. Number 11, feeling overwhelmed. So I would imagine there's a lot of people going to find that as a trigger. And it's all to do with the ones that are lower than this, as is anger. I'll come to that in a minute. Number 12 is disappointment. Number 13 is doubt. Number 14 is worry. Number 15 is blame. Number 16 is discouragement. Number 17 is anger. So anger is a result of all of these lower numbers underneath here. So once you've tackled the lower ones, anger will just disappear. So it's really, it's the expression of these lower emotions. Number 18 is revenge. Number 19 is hatred and rage. Number 20 is jealousy. Number 21 is insecurity, guilt, and unworthiness. And 22 is fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. So now you have this list. Start from the bottom. Read each one. Does it trigger you? Is there something there where it resonates with you? Not in the head. Try and keep yourself out of the head. Try and think from the heart center. If it does, write this word down separately as a heading in your journal, and sit and think individually for each step. What has happened in your life that has caused you to be emotionally attached to this number? Once you found the treasure, what did you learn? How has this enhanced your life? You can start looking at this in a different way. And as we discussed in a previous lesson, you can then go through the process of forgiveness, identify, accept, surrender, and let go. Everything is just a process. And if you kind of do it in this detached step-by-step process, it will help the mind not get involved. So it is a process, but you can't raise in consciousness until this inner work is complete. So time for some spring cleaning. Perfect timing as when we're making these videos. So do this for the whole list. The difficult ones disappear when you get to number 7. But you got to be honest with yourself. This is why I always talk about this bridge at 7, but you can't just stand there and ignore all the other things that are still trapping you in the body. You've really got to be brave and go through all of these and identify what is holding you back. Now, the beauty of doing this work in this lifetime, due to the new energy, the position in space that we're in, which is all in lesson 1, the very first video I made. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. We'll explain why all of this is happening. We won't have to come back and relearn this in next lifetimes. We will inherently remember this. So we won't have to come back and do all of this learning and this cleaning. You're kind of cleaning past lifetimes of trauma. So that's really good that we won't have to do it again. So you'll feel a massive shift once you've done this, where you've faced your demons and you've let them go, you've cleaned them. All your rooms have got the doors open, they're all shining, smelling good, windows open, nothing in dark corners. So let me know how you get on with this. I always love to hear positive feedback. Now, anger, as I said, is the result of the 5 lower emotions below it. So many people are struggling with anger. It's the steam chamber when the lower emotions have not been dealt with. So you tend to have outbursts of anger when the lower 5 emotions need to be addressed. So that's a little bit of a tip. If you are constantly getting angry, you know that you've really got to address the lower emotions below that. So 22, left-hand brain, to number 7 on the bridge means that you're still governed by the mind and more work is needed. When you get to number 7 and above, you're thinking from right-hand brain. You've done the cleaning and you are now working towards being a graduated soul. You become free. You're ready for more learning of cosmic consciousness, if you like. So let me give you an example of how to find the treasure. Let's say you're at disappointment at number 12 and this triggers you. And I got stuck here. I was holding on to emotional toxicity in my body. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't kind of find this. So I looked at the word, I sat quietly in meditation, and I realized that this all stemmed from my father, from being a child. We've done an inner child video, so go back and watch that as well. So my father was amazing. He could do everything: pilot, actor, drove boats, spoke languages. I mean, just was like unbelievably advanced in everything. And as I was the eldest child, I wanted to let him know that I was learning from him and doing my best. But he never patted me on the back. I never got any praise that I was looking for. All children like to be told that they're doing well. Now, sorry, I'm just reading my notes. So as I went through this full cleaning and went into the room marked disappointment, I realised if I hadn't gone through him not commending me, I would have probably become complacent. I wouldn't have had the drive that I have in this lifetime. And I've had a lot of big work to do in this lifetime. I needed fire in my belly to achieve what I have. So this was my treasure. When I realised this, I was able to be grateful for this experience. I was able to go through the process of cleaning and healing and letting it go. So, do you kind of see how this works? You've got to find, even though it's painful, what it is that is triggering this emotion, and then look at it and then find out how it's affecting or how it's affected your development. We make all these agreements before we come to earth. He wouldn't have remembered why he came to do what he did to me. I wouldn't have remembered what I agreed with him that it was okay to do to me. We forget when we come through the veil of forgetfulness. So you just have to be very kind and forgiving to all of these situations, because there is always treasure when you look. Now, family members are the ones that give us the biggest lessons. We will have agreed to what was needed before we came, and we need to look deeper to stay out of the mind. The mind will always make you the victim. Poor me. The mind literally is the root of all the pain that we suffer. So if you haven't cracked the mind step, definitely go back to the video marked "You're Not Who You Think You Are," and really work on that step, because you can't progress until then. Now, interestingly, your chakras, the energy centers in your body, of which there are 7 that we all know about, and there are 12 main ones, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the third eye, throat, third eye, and crown, are linked to a certain degree to this emotional scale. From 8 to 22 are the lower 3 chakras. 7 is the heart, and 7 to 1 are the throat, third eye, and finally the crown. And your DNA also corresponds to these. Everything is connected, as is your auric field, the layers of energy that you have in your body. I'll do a video about this later. It's absolutely fascinating. So being depressed or anxious or worried or overwhelmed can easily be eradicated using this process. Don't rush. Take your time. You don't want to half clean a room and then have to go back again. Baby steps are the best, and be very gentle with yourself. So getting to a place of contentment is a massive achievement. You will feel mentally, emotionally, and physically better. As we covered in a past lesson, toxicity held in the physical body causes disease, cancer, kidney and liver failure, blood disorders, skin irritation, heart and lung problems, to list a few. We're holding all this negative toxicity in our body, and this is the emotional purging that most of the planet is going through. We can heal the physical body to a certain degree with the state of our evolution. Innate still forming, so I wouldn't say that you can do it properly, but a lot can be done. When you get to a place of higher consciousness and connectivity, it's like everything plugs into each other and you're cleaning out the body. It's crazy that we're not taught this stuff at school. We have so much to learn about the body, and this is all going to be new learning. I'm sure that is going to be part of the new world. So as we raise in consciousness and are able to work with innate, with intent, another video, there is no limit to the amount of self-healing that you can perform on yourself. It does take work. But what could be more important than healing your body and not keep flaring up in anger or disappointment or blame or rage or depression? This is our only work. This is what we were supposed to be doing in the last 2 years while we've been in lockdown. Well, it's never too late to start, and you'll just feel amazing. So this was a big lesson. So I will leave it there for today. Let me know how you found this, and if you had any aha moments, drop me some comments in the box below. And I promise you, if you look hard enough, you will always find treasure. So to that end, I wish you love and light.